Money here, Alexander Payne, and I'm here with.
Luna Sofia Miranda.
Okay, just before we get exactly into the questions, you were telling us that work is crazy right now, and you have to strike while the iron is
Yes.
hot. Can you explain to the people what you do and what does it look like when work is crazy, and why you have to strike while the iron is hot?
So, hi guys, I'm Luna and I'm a scripper, um, exotic dancer, adult entertainer. And we are entrepreneurs. We're essentially running a small business. We are not employed by our clubs. We're independent contractors. So we don't get an hourly wage. We don't get a salary. It's on us to make money. Like however much money you make, that is on you. No one's going to pay you. You go out and get your money. And it is like many other entertainment industries, a seasonal industry. So where I work in New York City, you can make really good money in the spring and in the fall. And in the winter and in the summer, that shit dries up. So I already know July and August, all the rich guys are going to go to the Hamptons. I do not want to be at the club sitting there waiting for nobody. So right now I'm grinding really hard so that I can take the summer off. And that's kind of what it's like when you're an entrepreneur. I feel like no matter what business you're in, you have to strike while the iron is hot because you never know if you're going to have customers tomorrow. So if you're getting like waves and waves of people today, you got to cash in. And it can be really exhausting and lead to burnout, but whatever. I didn't choose the whole life. The whole life chose me.
Okay, let me ask you this then. So you were born and raised in New York City, and can you tell us about like your early life and how it shaped you today to be an entrepreneur?
So I was born and raised in New York City, the city of dreams. Actually, we're in Washington Square Park right now. I spent a lot of my childhood in this park. Maybe that's why I decided to grow up and become a scripper. I don't know.
The park inspired you?
Yeah, I think anything goes in Washington Square Park. You
Okay.
see people doing all kinds of crazy things, and my parents were really open-minded people. They taught me not to judge anyone. Whenever we would be out in the city and we'd see crazy New Yorkers doing crazy things, my parents would say, don't be afraid of them. Like, they're not hurting anyone. They're just being themselves. I definitely had a very, I guess you could call, progressive upbringing. My parents are, they didn't care when I came out as bisexual. We grew up around kids of all ethnicities and all colors. And I really appreciate that because I feel like it taught me to be just like open-minded and tolerant. I think my parents, the biggest lesson they taught me was to think for myself and be independent. I don't know if they realized how far I would take that. I think that definitely my career choices have come as a surprise, but they taught me to think for myself, so they can't really complain that I chose such a unique path in life.
Okay, wait, so you chose a unique path in life. What was that like when you came out to your parents and told them about, I'm going to be a scripper?
Ooh, so I started dancing when I was like fresh out of high school because I wanted to pay for college. And I think my parents were just in genuine shock because they weren't expecting me to make that choice. And the first reaction was very much like, we are so concerned for you right now. My mom was very angry. I think she saw it as like a personal affront, like, you're doing this to me.
Oh.
My dad was very much like, whoa, I'm kind of really afraid of what could happen to you. But I think that 8 years later, they've come around to it. My mom is not with me anymore, unfortunately, but my dad is very much used to it. He used to stay up until 5 a.m. waiting for me to come home from the club, and he wouldn't go to sleep until he knew that I was like safe in my bed. And if he didn't hear me coming home, he'd like peek in my room and be like, are you home? Like, did you have a good night or a bad one? And I think now he can sleep peacefully. He can go to bed at 10 p.m. knowing that, I'm doing a job just like any other. And he's really supportive. He's like, I have an idea for you to take your business to the next level. Yeah. Yeah.
What was the idea? Can we know?
He's come up with a few. He was like, have you ever thought so I think my dad like just realized what cosplay was. I don't think he knows that like cosplay has been around for like a really long time. So he was like, what if you went to work dressed like these like crazy characters? Like, do you think that would like help you tap into like different like pools of customers? And that is a great idea, but I was like, oh, Dad, like, you're so sweet and innocent. You didn't realize cosplay has been around for a minute.
That's hilarious. I feel like my mom would be like, have you thought about posting your comedy online? Like a network, like, you know, not like an iTube. You're like, yeah, that exists, YouTube. But if it was 2000, I would totally run with this idea. Let me ask you this. Okay, so you were talking about you grew up in parks like this. You were telling us earlier about a park when you were younger. It's down on the Lower East Side. Yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about the park and the name of it? You said Robert Moses built it, and it's called the Great Hope.
Actually, I pulled up a document online just because I don't want to like say something wrong and then have people like witch hunt me.
It doesn't. They're gonna witch hunt you no matter what. Witch hunt me
it's
anyway. Instagram, yeah. They're gonna be like, who's this woman that's comfortable with herself? I must stop this.
Who's this woman?
Yeah.
I must stop this. Okay. Well.
Because Sarah Roosevelt Park, is that what it was?
So it's called the Sarah D. Roosevelt Park. I think it runs between Houston Street and Canal Street on the Lower East Side. And it's a really interesting, most parks are like a square. Yeah. This park is long. It goes like all the way down like an entire avenue. Yeah. And I think the reason why that's so unique is because it allows the park to kind of serve as a funnel where people in the neighborhood, it sort of like connects the neighborhood in like a long way. Yeah. You know, like people can go up and down, which is just a little bit more accessible than a park that's like just a rectangle. Yeah. And the lore, okay, the myth, the legend that I heard about the park is that it was like a battle between the evil mayor, Robert Moses, and this activist named Jane Jacobs. And Robert Moses was a racist, classist, evil mayor, okay? He built the Cross Bronx Expressway. He hated black people, he hated Puerto Rican people, he hated poor people. And Jane Jacobs was advocating for more services and better quality of life for the people of New York City. And Robert Moses was very much like, poor people don't deserve parks. They don't deserve nice things. Like, we want to turn this city into a haven for like wealthy whites who want to go shopping. And Jane Jacobs was like, no, like, we're going to build a park because the people of the city deserve shade. They deserve a refuge. They deserve like a place to get relief from like the hot concrete jungle. And I think this park was built like as a kind of negotiation between them. Mm-hmm. Like they were arguing over it and what it would look like. And that park is what they came up with. But I love it. Even though the LES is super duper gentrified, if you go to that park, you will see people from all backgrounds. It's been a haven for the Chinese American community. I think it's also been a haven for the Black and Puerto Rican community in the Lower East Side. And if you go there, I've been there before and like talked to people who like lived in that neighborhood, had to leave because it got too expensive and still come back to that park because it's a part of their childhood. Yeah.
Speaking of rich versus poor, you were in a film that talks a lot about classes. It's like a retelling of the Cinderella story. Yes. I feel like you were in a film, Anora, which was a huge hit this past year. Do you want to talk about how you got cast in it and what was the process of like filming that with Sean Baker and everything, and you know, your foray going into making films and becoming an actor?
So I got cast in Anora by complete accident. I had actually quit acting because...
Wait, so you were an actor? Before?
Yeah. I went to the Professional Performing Arts School. Oh. It's a New York City public school. I was there 6th grade through 12th grade, and I got a completely free arts education. I have an arts endorsed diploma. Oh. shout out to public schools. You know, like it was a really, truly wonderful thing that the city of New York provided for me and so many other children. But I went to college to continue acting and to learn about film production. And then COVID happened. And it just, shit got so hard for so many people. And I just felt like there was no path forward. And I quit acting. I continued stripping because... Well, I continued scripting, okay? I don't want you to get demonetized. I continued scripting because that's where the money was. And I had kind of not really given up on my dream of being an actress, but I was kind of just like, I don't really know how to move forward because you need resources to be an artist in this country.
Yeah.
And I like randomly met Sean Baker and his wife and producer Samantha Kwan at Pumps, which is the strip club where I've been working for many years. And they cast me in Anora. But it was literally an accident.
Or was it? Maybe it was manifesting. You know what I mean? You were like, I want to be an actor. I don't know how. But you called it to you.
You know, I think that I think maybe unconsciously I knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
Because, so... Scripting is about money, but I think I was also drawn to scripting because I know that you get social clout from dancing. Like, even though you get discriminated against and even though it's a taboo, I think when you tell people I'm an exotic dancer, there's a reaction. And so there's this feeling of I'm special, I'm different. And, you know, a lot of scrippers have been in music videos, they've been on reality TV, they have a really big Instagram following. So I think in my own unconscious mind, I was like, okay, like if I can't be an actress, I'm going to find a way to feel special on my own. And I think I unconsciously knew that working at the script club would lead me to somewhere or something that I would be seen in some capacity.
Yeah. So, but now you're getting ready to go back because you said you were making a film, right? That's what you told us.
I made it already.
Oh, you made it already?
Yeah,
It's being edited. So what's the film about? And tell us about that.
So I produced a film called Film Girl. Yeah. It is a very sexy, very campy horror film about a serial killer who seduces this very arrogant film bro and kills him on camera. Or she unalives him on camera. We have to be careful now online with what we say. But...
You completely financed this yourself.
So I ran a fundraiser, and most of the money came from people that I've met in adult entertainment who believe in me and who supported me. People who've been patronizing my business since before Anora, since before I met Sean Baker. They believed in me and they invested in my project. And I also got a lot of donations from like my Instagram followers and friends and family. But yeah, I financed it on my own. I don't think I'm the type of person to receive a grant from an institution or a nonprofit. I think they'd look at my career choices and automatically disqualify me. So I'm not gonna waste my time trying to get money from people who don't even see me as an equal. I'm going to try and get that money some other way on my own. And the film is now very close to picture lock.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
This is huge. So you were talking about getting grants and stuff and people's identity looking at you with money. What is your relationship with money? What would you say? You know, open relationship or poly? What's going on with that?
So when you guys reached out to me, I saw the name of your platform was Sad Money. And I was like, Sad Money, me. Like, I feel like that just resonates with me. I have a very, very toxic relationship with money.
Okay.
I'm addicted to money, but I'm also addicted to making money. It's not just the feeling of having money, it's the feeling of making it and making more. And the longer I stay in a fast cash business, the higher my tolerance gets. The higher my tolerance gets. Making 1K used to give me a huge boost of adrenaline, not so much anymore.
Oh.
The bar keeps getting higher, and it's also at the point where, because there's no ceiling to how much money I can make, I will work and work and work and work to keep making money, even though it's hurting my health, even though I don't really have a social life. I just can't like escape this rush I get from making money.
It's interesting you say this, because this could be like something like when people talk about billionaires and they go like, oh, why don't they just stop? And it's like maybe they're addicted to just like consistently making more money, where they're like, how much higher can it get?
Yeah.
So do you, like, when you think of the idea that you're addicted to this lifestyle of making money, is there a number for you where you go, okay, I can stop, or I'll relax? Or is it just a feeling, like the dopamine hit, where you go like, whoo, 10K, bitch is up today?
I don't think that there's a number, because I don't think that there is a number that will make me feel like I can stop making money, because this money-making addiction comes from a place of trauma. I'm in therapy, by the way, and I think maybe if some of these billionaires were in therapy, they wouldn't be so awful. But I understand that my money-making addiction is filling a hole in my heart. You know, when you grow up with financial instability, no matter how much money you make, you're always going to feel unsafe.
When you say trauma, oh wait, let's wait. So when you say trauma, like it's filling a hole, what do you mean? Like, okay, so I buy a lot of sneakers, and what does that mean to me? The sneakers are probably filling a hole that I have had with my father, but I know that now. I've worked through that. Do I still buy sneakers? Yes, because they're honoring my dad now, because he never bought me a lot of sneakers. So my question to you, I never forget you. You owe me $200 when you died, Dad. But anyways, what is the trauma like you're trying to fill with money, you think?
I lost my mother in like a very abrupt way.
Yeah.
It was like a crisis. It happened out of nowhere. And now in my mind, I keep thinking, oh, the same thing is going to happen to me. There's going to be some, like, I don't know, or let me rephrase this. It's not if something bad is going to happen to me, it's when something bad is going to happen to me. So I feel like because I watched my mother get sick and die in a really horrible and fast way, I'm like convinced that that's going to happen to me. And so I'll like hoard money. I'll hoard money and I won't spend it on anything, even stuff that I need, because in my mind I'm like, no, I need to save this money for when something terrible happens.
Yeah.
But then the pendulum will swing in the opposite direction, and I'll say to myself, oh, if I'm gonna get sick and die, then I need to enjoy my life as much as possible now, and I'll like blow all my money in a really short period of time. It's like this horrible back and forth.
Yeah.
But the more distance I have from my mother's death, the more I'm able to like get perspective on that and try and take active steps to like regularize my relationship with money. But I feel like I'm kind of in an industry where if you have financial trauma, it's gonna be like, it's almost like a steroid for financial trauma. Like this fast cash that comes at like unstable intervals combined with my money trauma is like, it's like money trauma on crack.
I like that term, money trauma.
Yeah.
That sounds good. I should put that on a t-shirt. My thing is, I want to know is, you were talking about you're in fast cash industry, but you were telling us you like deposit your money in like different envelopes.
Yes.
Like you have one for health insurance, you have one for, how to break down the system for us, you know what I mean, us young entrepreneurs that want to learn the Luna system.
That want to learn the Luna system.
Yeah.
I don't think I invented the Luna system. I think probably other people have been using the envelope method. It just kind of seemed like what made the most sense to me. But when I started dancing, I was fresh out of high school. I made a lot of money and I spent it immediately. And
On what?
on like takeout.
Nice.
Like not even like luxury bags and like Botox. Like literally on like
Botox was the top.
on food. Like
Yeah.
you know, like just random stuff. And I had
Avocado toast?
everything. Mexican food, Middle Eastern food, Turkish food. I think I was really depressed in college.
Yeah.
And I like ate my feelings.
Okay.
And I did not save any of my money. I was supposed to use that money to pay tuition. But it was too hard to dance and go to class in the morning. So I ended up dropping out of school, and I was so depressed. I like blew all my money on like food and going out and whatever. After COVID, when I went back to the club, I said, okay, you're not a spring chicken anymore. If you're gonna do this for real, well, you can bleep that out. If you're gonna do this for real, you can be fucking smart about it. So at this point, after COVID, I'm dancing like 30 hours a week. I start making a lot of money. I start making a lot of cash. And when you have a pile of cash sitting at home, it's very tempting to just take $500 and go shopping. But when you organize that pile of cash into categories, okay, this envelope is for healthcare. This envelope is for emergencies. This envelope is for rent. When you say, ooh, I'm going to spend $500 on a fancy dinner today, when you're taking that out of the rent envelope, that hurts. You're not just taking $500 from the pile anymore. You're taking $500 out of your rent envelope. So it's a way to like prevent myself from spending money on something that I don't need. And also a way to organize my money. If I make $2K, I can put, and I have 20 envelopes, $100 for vacation, $100 for fun, $100 for rent, $100 for investing. But even if I only make $200, I can still put $20 in each envelope. Yeah.
Okay. That's interesting because you just made me think of like, you know, when we used to carry around cash and you like take the money out, you could see how much you're spending. But when it's a card, you're just like, oh, this is invisible money. It doesn't matter. You know, I never know how much I'm spending. Now you got me thinking, all right, I need some envelopes. That would help me out. Oh, yeah. We've been reading The Richest Man in Babylon. All right. So you take a lot of money. You were telling us, too, that you invest your money. How do you invest your money?
So when I started dancing full-time as my full-time career, I decided to educate myself on wealth management. There are so many free resources online, and I also had a lot of clients at the club who worked on Wall Street, and they were really helpful. And there are like so many tools out there that are accessible to people, but we're just not taught about it, like a high yield savings account. Instead of having 10K under your mattress, you put 10K in high yield savings, and like some of them have like a 3 or 4% like annual percentage yield. And so someone told me, save 10K for emergencies, put that in a high yield savings account, and it will grow. And then once you have your emergency fund, you can start investing in retirement and also in like a brokerage account. So I opened a Roth IRA, and I also opened a brokerage account, and it's like pretty cool to see your money working for itself. Yeah. And it's not rocket science. It's just like, these are not things that people get taught in school.
Do you talk crazy to your money? Like, do you like talk like a pimp to your money? Like, bitch, get out there and go make me some more money.
No. Oh my God. My money, hold on. Where's my money? I don't carry too much cash with me. That's how I prevent myself from spending money. And I think that being like a cash earner has saved me a lot of money because I don't have a credit card. So
hey, okay.
when you have a credit card, there's like so much temptation to like buy things impulsively.
Yeah.
If I'm like, okay, I'm going to go out with my friends, I'm only taking $200 cash. When you run out of cash, that's it.
Yeah.
It's not like you can keep swiping. So I don't carry a lot of cash, but here's a 10. I don't talk like that to my money, okay?
I was like, here's a 10. Oh, you were nice to it.
No, I love my money. Listen, if you take care of your money will take care of you. I see people, they crumple their money, they throw it in a corner, they keep it in their wallet. I put my money in my envelopes, I label it, I categorize it, I have a spreadsheet. I have like a special bank account that literally, it lets me do the envelopes, but like virtually. It's like Ally Bank. You can have buckets. Listen, you take care of your money will take care of you.
Do you talk good to the money? Like, do you go, oh, you're so pretty today,
like,
money?
I love you. You're so perfect. Oh my God, my angel. I used to sleep with it.
You used to sleep with your money on the big pile of cash?
Yes, I was going through a really hard time where I just felt so unstable and so unsafe. Like, I literally just felt like my survival was threatened. And at this point, it was right after COVID. I was making a lot of money because people were like desperate for like physical contact. And I remember like I would sleep with my money in my arms because it made me feel so safe and protected. And obviously there's a lot to unpack there.
Yeah, this is a lot.
At least I'm aware of my problems.
Yeah, that was I don't think I've ever slept with my money. I've done some crazy things, but have you ever slept with your money?
I haven't, but it reminds me of, have you seen Breaking Bad? Like the scene
Yes.
where
Oh,
they're
yeah.
Breaking Bad on the
Yes.
Well, that does look like fun, but that also looks uncomfortable. I always like that scene from Batman when the Joker burns the money and he slides down it.
Oh, no.
It's like a nightmare for her. But he's like, it's not about money, it's about sending a message. All right, let me ask you this. So there's a famous idea called the Stripper Index, the exotic dancer index, and the notion that dancers can sense the shift in the economy, obviously because of the connection to the Wall Street guys. Is this true? Have you heard of this?
Yes, I've heard of the Stripper Index.
Yeah.
And I will say that like right before a market crash, we'll know like 2 weeks in advance. Because Wall Street is coming to the club and telling us like there's about to be a crash. And, like,
That's how they tell you?
yeah, like we know about it beforehand. And sometimes I don't like that they're dumping all of this panic onto us, especially this last one. They were coming in and saying like the most crazy thing. Like I was triggered and I went downstairs and I told the owner of the club, I was like, I'm freaking out. Like all these Wall Street guys are coming here and telling me that the market's gonna crash, the dollar is gonna lose value, sell your assets, sell your house, buy gold, buy euros. And he was like, look, their world is falling apart because that is their world. That is their entire world. But that's not our entire world. And we don't have to let that like dictate our entire lives. And that made me feel a little bit better.
Would you be a correspondent for us and come to us and tell us when this is getting ready to happen? Just come do a small little segment and be like, listen guys, the market is getting ready to crash. I know because Joe Blow was doing a lot of blow.
Joe Blow, indeed.
Yeah.
Sure, I can be a correspondent for you. I will say, people tell me things that I sometimes don't want to know. Like, someone who worked for the CDC came in and like told me something that I don't want to know. Like, oh, there's going to be another pandemic in the fall. And I know. And I was like, I don't even know if that's true.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's true. I think there's a certain type of person that like goes to a club or a bar or a restaurant to like tell people that the world is gonna end. And I don't know that I like that. I try not to let those things affect me, but they do.
This is an interesting question. So you say a lot of like, obviously this is a lot of guys, right? What is it about like, I don't know, like clubs or dance clubs where like men feel comfortable doing that versus going to a therapist and sharing it that way? Like there's something there that they feel like, okay, this is where I can let it out versus maybe at home or I don't know, even at my own work. You know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like there's
Yes.
you're like a therapist to them kind of.
Yes. I definitely feel like a hot therapist a lot of the time, which I don't mind. I just want people to pay me. I will say that since January, I've had a lot of people come to the club and be like, we're all gonna die. Like the world is falling apart. Civilization is ending. They want to talk about aliens and AI and like...
What do they say about aliens?
Oh my God. Like that there's... I don't think they say anything that's like not already on the news, but basically a lot of doom and gloom.
Yeah.
And I don't know why for certain people, mostly men, It's like instead of going to therapy, they want to go to the club. And what I think is that because adult entertainers are so stigmatized and because we represent such a taboo, a lot of people are like, well, I can share my odds and quirks and kinks with a scripper.
Yeah.
She's not going to judge me. She herself is judged. So I can say, yeah, I think, thank you. I think people, it's raining.
Yeah.
I think people, I think because we're such outcasts, people are like, oh, like she's not going to judge me. I can tell her anything.
I see. It's like also to the idea that like you have literally nothing to hide. They're like, she's naked. There's nothing she can hide from me. Like there's something, you know how like when we do stand-up comedy or like you do public speaking, they say imagine the other people naked. You know what I mean? They think it's like a psychological thing where they go, oh, it gets easier if they're naked. It's like, it's even worse though for stand-up. Like if nobody's laughing and they're naked, you go, well, this is worse. I don't know, but go ahead.
I will say that
Sorry.
Dancing like naked in front of strangers, nowhere near as intimidating as doing stand-up.
That's crazy.
Like to me, doing stand-up would feel like I would feel like truly naked doing stand-up.
That's so wild.
Yeah.
This is what I've always thought. This was a joke I always thought, where I was like, so like, okay, if I took my clothes off and somebody laughed at me, I'd kill myself. I'm just being honest. Like imagine like, you know, because you're an entertainer, but like everyone thinks like because you're a comedian, everything you do is funny. I would lose my mind. I would just be like, that's it. I'm writing a note. I'm letting my mom know. I'm letting everybody know this woman laughed at me or man, whatever.
I feel the opposite. I feel like if I made a joke and no one laughed, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to go jump off the Verrazano Bridge. Bye.
That's so crazy. This is like, it's like when like, this is always the most interesting thing about comedy is when people who are like firefighters are like, I don't know how you do what you do. You like, you run into a fucking burning building. What is that? This the stigma of like being judged by other people, you think?
I think that we were hardwired to be communal creatures. And when the tribe rejects us, that is like devastating on like a chemical level. That's why being banished from your tribe is such a devastating thing. People reportedly end their lives when they feel rejected by the group. And so when you make a joke and no one laughs, something like evolutionary gets triggered.
I don't know. That's like my favorite thing is when I make a joke and everyone's like, oh my God. And I go, this is great. Okay. So what are your thoughts going forward on like the pros and cons of like digital sex work economy, like OnlyFans? Because that's become like a multi-billion-dollar industry. I used to work for OnlyFans.
Really?
Yeah, I did. I used to pretend to be the women.
Oh my God.
I know. I was inside and I saw how much money they made and I was like, man, I think I could take a picture of my feet. I got some cute ass feet. Yeah. I'm just saying like, so, because you're in a physical medium, and it's kind of like with us, like stand-up, you're physically there, but there are a lot of people who are like online content creators or online comedians, and the world, I feel like, is shifting more that way. Yeah. So, like, do you think about that, like switching to OnlyFans or doing things in that lane, or do you already, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think about doing OnlyFans a lot. It's so messed up that Hollywood would reject an actress because she had an OnlyFans. Like,
really?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge.
I think you have this effect on people. Yeah, you inspired her.
Hold on, wait. Let me regather my train of thought. So I would love to like expand my business and bring it online. Yeah. I've been warned that as an actress, I will be rejected if I do online work. Yeah, especially OnlyFans. I think there's such a big stigma against it, which is crazy because like it's okay for an actress to play a scripper. It's okay for an actress to play a porn star. But for a real actress to supplement her income by doing adult entertainment, it's like a huge no-no. It's so hypocritical. It's like Hollywood is okay with telling sex worker stories, but like not with sex workers supplementing their income. Because no one makes money in film. No one makes money acting. You literally have to come from a wealthy family if you want to work in film, or just be extremely lucky. So most of the people I work with at the club are like theater people and film people and artists, and they're doing this work to supplement their income. What's the big deal? It's just a job. So I'd love to take my business online, but I've definitely received a lot of like negative feedback from people saying like 50% of casting directors won't even like look at your audition if they know you have an OnlyFans. And it's like, what's your problem?
Here's my compromise. Feet. Tarantino's the only one that's obsessed with feet, so you won't work with him. But the rest of the industry you're open to. Who's going to be looking like, oh, that's Luna's feet. I know those feet.
You know, but that's the thing, is I don't think it matters what you're putting on.
Oh.
Hi.
You know her?
I don't think we know each other.
Okay, all right.
Have a nice day. I don't think it matters what you're putting on OnlyFans. I think that just having an OnlyFans makes you undesirable.
That's crazy. Really? Okay, all right. Well,
Yeah.
but that's going to change, though. You think that stigma of like... Because Sasha Grey was an actor. She switched from porn to acting, didn't she?
I think she did, but I haven't seen her in anything recently. Maybe I'm just like disconnected from like what she's doing. But I know that it's hard for people, which sucks because I mean I feel like Hollywood is obsessed with sex workers, but then you're gonna like reject real sex workers.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
All right, so let's switch a little bit. Like relationships, future plans. Let's talk ahead. Like, so what do you look for in a partner, both romantically and financially? Like, what are some important factors? Obviously, you're a bisexual woman. So when you go out with a lady, are you taking her out? Are you paying? Or is it a 50-50 split? I need to know this.
Actually, I should correct that. Technically, I'm pansexual because I like everybody.
Okay.
I'm attracted to like energy. I'm not like discriminating based on
She could feel
different
that.
things.
That's why she came over. She said, I could tell there's a pansexual over here.
Yes, I'm pan. I just like the term. I don't know why I like the term bisexual better. I guess when I came out as bisexual, it was like, ooh, bisexual, and it just stuck. But I was taught by my mother that no matter who you're dating, man, woman, black, white, rich, poor, doesn't matter who you're dating, you always want to be financially independent. You never want to rely on someone else for income, even if that person happens to be wealthy. You want to have your own money, especially as a woman. And I would never judge someone for dating for money. I think that's a very valid choice. I just personally, money was never something I considered when dating someone. I set out to find someone who wanted to have fun and who wanted to like really build a relationship that was rooted in trust and communication. And I think that's worked very well for me. Yeah, and I have a partner, and it's like a back and forth. Like sometimes I take my partner out and I pay for everything, and sometimes my partner takes me out and my partner pays for everything. It's a nice back and forth.
So do you guys like, or you and your partners, like, do you plan on like having a family? Like, is money something you guys talk about? Like, because a lot of people are scared to have kids now because they're like, I don't know if I can afford it. Is that something that you guys talk about, discuss, or is it too early for? It's just like you get the DoorDash, I get the Uber.
It's never too early to decide that you don't want to have kids. I could never see myself having children, even as a little girl. It was never something I envisioned. Mm-hmm. I think children are wonderful. I think families are wonderful. I can't wait to be an auntie or a godmother.
Okay.
But I personally don't want human children. I want feline and canine children. We really want a cat and a dog. I just don't think that either of us wants to have kids. We want to keep all of our money for ourselves. But you know, when you guys asked me that question, I talked about it with my partner, and I was like, well, if we had $1 billion, would you have kids?
Yeah.
And I think we both agree that it's not just a money thing. It's just we don't want kids.
Okay, let me ask you this one last thing. Like, what's something you wish people knew about the world that you're in, exotic dancing. What's something?
I'll take my glasses off for this one.
Oh, we're getting serious.
I was hiding the fact that I'm not wearing any makeup today with my big sunglasses.
Okay.
I wish people knew that dancing can be so fulfilling, not just financially, but it can be emotionally fulfilling when the conditions are met. When you're being treated well at work, when your customers are respecting your boundaries, and when you're making enough money, it can honestly be a great job. It can be a job that someone might want to keep for decades. I think a lot of people see it as a side hustle. A lot of people see it as something that women only do when they're young and in college. They don't really think of it as like a legitimate career or as a legitimate job that requires you to build skills. And I really wish people gave it like the credit that it deserves.
Nice. Is there anything else you want to add? Anything particular you want to say?
Anything particular that I want to say?
Maybe you can tell them your Instagram and what the name of the movie would be and everything, and where the following.
So you can find me on Instagram at Luna_Sofia_Miranda. And that is Sophia with an F. I spell it the Hispanic way, not the Anglophone way. I was in Anora, and my film, which is called Film Girl, is going to be coming out this year.
Is there Instagram for that one? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Let's see. We're gonna have to have you come back and give us more fear tales from these guys.
Oh my God, I feel bad now for saying that thing about the pandemic. Maybe we should take that out. It's gonna freak people out.
Oh, there's a pandemic in the fall.
Yeah, that's what.
Did anyone?
I don't
Wait.
even know. I don't even think he was really from the CDC. Like
He just said that?
I don't know.
He's like, my name is CDC. Anyways,
People say wild things to me. I had a guy come in and told me that he punched a shark in the face. And he was keyed the fuck up. He was like, I went swimming in the Hudson River and punched a shark in the face. And I was like, bro, you...
I was like, who is this, Chuck Norris? What the fuck are you...
I was like, do you believe the things that you are saying that are coming out of your mouth right now?
All right. Wait, let me ask you. Wait. There's so many questions here. He punched the shark in the face. First of all, are there sharks in the Hudson? I don't think there are, because they're like sharks of saltwater. But okay, beyond that, Warren Buffett just retired. Did anyone say anything about that recently? Like, does anyone go like, oh my God, like Warren Buffett's like the OG, he's the top guy. So it's like, has anyone lost their mind over that? It's like LeBron retiring.
I haven't heard much about Warren Buffett lately.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn. All right, that was our next segment. Yeah, it just happened, so we were
I
wondering.
want a shirt that says Warren Buffett.
That's a
I
good
want
shirt.
A shirt that says Warren Buffett.
Yeah, that'll yeah, that's some good merch.
Yeah.
All right, well that's it.